Modern Pagan TV is dedicated to education about modern pagan religions and is committed to the protection, welfare, and guardianship of the rights of all people to worship as their hearts and minds dictate. Modern Pagan TV considers education of the non-pagan public and of our own world community about pagan religions to be of paramount importance and encourages open dialogue across all platforms with the understanding that all voices have an equal right to be heard. Modern Pagan TV encourages participation in multiple spiritual events as the tradition and the individual deems appropriate, and maintains that courtesy and open-mindedness and not denigration are paramount to any discussion. So sit back or join in. Modern Pagan TV is streaming live.
The pitch got higher, all the drums went out to the edge, and it got higher, and it got loud, and the girls were out screaming and, shrieking and dancing. And when it got to this peak, it just stopped, dead silence.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Laura McKenzie.
I'm Phil Catalano.
And this is Modern Pagan TV.
Welcome, everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're watching us for the first time, please check out the website, www.modernpagan.tv, and we have our guest resources there. We have Meet the Cast and Crew, and we've archived our shows there. So, if you missed a segment, you can find it there. And if you found us through YouTube, well, you know that we're up on YouTube.
Yeah, there's several sources.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a fun show tonight.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you're going to do like finger puppets or something?
Oh, not necessarily finger puppets, but some hand gestures.
Okay.
And some finger.
I know some of those hand gestures, and they're not polite either, Phil. So I don't know.
I won't get to that one.
Oh, okay. That one? Okay.
That one.
All
There's
right.
probably several.
There probably is. Yeah.
I won't do those.
Yeah.
Everyone's familiar enough with those. We don't have to do that.
We don't have to do that. And Carmen, our wonderful kitchen witch, has this whole display of yummy things over there. My mouth is watering at the thought. I haven't gotten to eat today because I've been in the air traveling, and so just got in. So that's
must be tired.
Oh, I knew someone was going to do that. It wasn't going to be me. So I also wanted to let everybody know that we're running a special now for advertisers. If you would like to advertise on Modern Pagan TV and you have, a CD or a DVD, if you have a little ad already created, we will run that free of charge.
Sure. If you'd like to be a guest, that's also an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And remember that when those shows are archived, that commercial will continue to run free of charge on YouTube for ever.
Forever, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if you don't have a commercial reel already, email us at info@modernpagan.tv, and we have really, really, really ridiculously good rates on creating that for you, which then belongs to you.
Right.
So really cool. So you want to contact us and get busy on that, because that's really a good way to reach people. So our chat room is up and running, and today, I'm very excited about this. Today we're giving our first ever giveaway.
That's right.
Yeah.
A book.
Yeah, a book. The author is here, and she consented to do a giveaway, and so when we get closer to that segment, the first person with the right answer will be directed to send their snail mail information to info@modernpagan.tv, and we will zip off a copy of this book, which everybody is going to want to have anyway. So, and somebody's going to get it free tonight on this show. So,
good.
Yeah. So, Venus is retrograde. Venus went retrograde. So let's find out if there's anything else new and exciting, because this is always new and exciting, because our astrology segment is always new and exciting. So let's do Kat Lindgren, the modernpagan.tv astrologer, and let's see what's going on.
Hello, my name is Kat Lindgren, and I would like to thank you for joining us for another episode of Modern Pagan TV's Flying Through the Skies, a witch's view of the cosmos. This episode focuses on the events for the week of May 20th, 2012. We begin our report looking at the placement of the sun. As we bask in the green, fertile energies of the Beltane season and bid farewell to the sign of the bull, the sun moves into the sign of the twins Gemini on Sunday, May 20th at 9:16 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Whenever a planet or luminary moves into another sign or even through a sign, it is influenced by an invisible marker that holds influences based on the zodiac sign the planet or luminary is visiting. These invisible markers are called decants and are in 10-degree segments. Each of these segments has its own planetary influence based on the 10-degree segment and the sign it is in. Each sign has 30 degrees or 3 10-degree segments. For this week, the sun enters the first of the 3 10-degree segments. This first segment is influenced by the planet Mercury, and this is in the sign of Gemini. And through this placement will lend an even greater desire to communicate to an already very wordy placement of the sun. We start out the week on Sunday with a solar eclipse at 5:23 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time in Gemini. This is an annular solar eclipse, meaning it shows a ring through the darkness as it crests. The moon moves into Gemini at 5:05 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, just in time to lend duplicitous and mercurial energies as the moon crests dark at 5:47 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Usually we do not have time to address the decans of the moon as the speedy traveler journeys so quickly through signs, but take note, the moon also resides in the Mercury-influenced first decant of Gemini. The moon moves to the new moon stage on Wednesday, May 23rd, and any magic around calling or growing is supported on or after Wednesday. The void of course moon cycles to be aware of are Tuesday, May 22nd at 4:51 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time as the moon leaves Gemini and prepares to enter Cancer, the sign of the moon crab, at 5:31 a.m. Wednesday, May 23rd, Mountain Daylight Time. The moon is naturally dignified in this placement, so it lends further aid to rites around home issues and even rituals that focus on being at home in our own bodies or with ourselves. The moon shifts again on Friday, May 25th at 8:34 a.m. for a very short void of course cycle, entering Leo at 4:11 p.m. that same day and remaining here through the end of the week. We have 3 planets in retrograde placement during this week. Saturn has been retrograde in Libra since the week of Imbolc and will continue until almost the end of June. Pluto turned retrograde in Capricorn in April and will remain as such until Mabon week of this year. The last of this trio to turn retrograde is Venus, having turned retrograde last week in Gemini, and will remain in the sign of Gemini until heading direct on June 26 at 8:32 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Retrogrades are always about the internal process, and that is why when we have these great retrograde teachers, everything in the outside world stops functioning when we try to push this process externally instead of looking in the mirror and conversing with ourselves. And for you night sky watching moon howlers, here is where you will find the planets this week. Mercury heads off the lineup halfway through the sign of Taurus. We are driven to talk, and talk some more. But this is about art, music, and beauty. Venus is dancing backwards in Gemini, adding a duplicitous quality to our internal exploration of relationships with ourselves and with others. Mars is prodding us in Virgo. Jupiter is lending abundance to Taurus. Saturn is forcing us to look at our responsibility to ourselves and relationships in Libra. And Uranus in Aries is pushing our eccentric agendas in standing out and being different. Neptune is helping our dream, but aiding our delusions in Pisces, and Pluto is helping us to tear down that which does not serve us in Capricorn. On a parting note, we have been having some impressive solar flare activity the last couple of years, and this year has seen some disruptive M5 class activity. The most recent this month, on the 17th. Fallout from solar flares can be as simple as crappy electronic reception to power outages. Flare activity can lend a sense of speeding up to everything around us. For witchy people and those that are energetically tuned in, though, it can bring irritability, a sense of overload on every level, and challenges to our personal and professional relationships. Watch children specifically during this time, as they by nature tend to be more aware and susceptible. The key to functioning during these events is to watch any tendencies towards overload and overcommitting. Have a conversation with yourself about realistic goals and tasks. Check in frequently for a personality check, and actually schedule in what I like to call non-human contact time so that you can reboot your system. My name is Kat Lindgren, and on behalf of Modern Pagan TV, I would like to thank you for joining us for another segment of Flying Through the Skies, a witch's view of the cosmos. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you, Kat. So, we wanted to talk about Studio 3 being all set up.
Having rituals come in?
Absolutely. If you are with a group and you would like to come in and do a ritual, you know, we've been having concerts in there. We've had like 3 or 4. We have another one for next week. And if you have a group, or if you would like to come and do a ritual,
sure, we'll videotape it and air it.
And we'll absolutely run it. And Rena Sesha, who was here, who's our shamanic practitioner, is going to come back at a future date and do a journey. Actually, use some people of the studio audience and invite them to come on and take a little shamanic journey. So
sure, that would be a very nice ritual, and follow up with a lot of things. Yeah,
absolutely. So please contact us at info@Modern Pagan TV and you know, let us know that you're interested in doing that, because we'd be interested in having you do that. So before we go on to what Carmen is doing, I want to talk about timely tips. And so I'm going to rant about this for a little while. And I don't know if anybody else has been following this, but there is legislation in Congress right now that would actually take away our rights not to be propagandized. Is that a word?
Well, it's a word now.
It is now, yes. So back in 1948, some of you may know this, may not. Probably because of what happened in Germany during World War II and the propaganda machine, Congress enacted the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948, and then later in 1987, we got the Foreign Relations Authorization Act. And what that did, those two laws essentially made it illegal for propaganda that's used to influence public opinion overseas to be targeted at U.S. citizens. And there is now...
the military? Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. And, I mean, this goes on for pages and pages and pages and pages. And so what this says is that the U.S. government can now bombard us with messages on television, on radio, in the newspaper, like they didn't do that already, and the internet. They can even tweet us if they want.
And subliminal, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can do anything they want to shape our opinion in the interest of national security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're capturing a lot under that national security, and they're misusing that in all of their communications.
Oh, yeah.
Homeland Security is also on board with all of that. They're tied together. I'm not impressed with our government. There's so much, in my opinion, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of deceitful actions that are taking place.
Yeah.
And the people are promoting it. The politicians are going along with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like they're laying down and playing dead about this whole thing.
Right. And it's misleading the public to follow that lead. Yeah. And that lead is wrong.
I mean, there's so much misinformation. I mean, like we talked about last week, the reporters from Fox News who lost the lawsuit against Fox because the courts in Florida said, that there was no requirement that news agencies told the truth. I mean, there's a belief that they should, and ethically, I think we all say, "Oh, where's Dan Rather when you need him?" Well, he ain't here, and the people who are being told what to say, and it doesn't have to be the truth. And this bill, if it passes, would give the government complete and total reign to say anything they want. I mean, does that sound like Nazi Germany to you, or am I just being crazy?
It does. And I, on a personal level, follow the alternative news because I think from the internet we have a lot more openness and a lot more opinions and a lot more credible people posting. So there's a lot more information that's available, and it even touches upon different countries. So there's things that other countries are reporting about what's going on here that we don't find out from our news.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's because of who owns the news agencies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just if we wanted to get into health news, and I want to do that next week. I want to talk about this whole thing about saturated fat and high cholesterol. Well, that relationship doesn't exist, and it's a big lie. And so I want to expose that because people are dying because of the lie, and I think that's criminal.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But what's not criminal is Crafty Kitchen Witch. Although I don't know, tasting some of this, looking at all these ingredients sitting out there, that may be a little criminal. At least to my diet. So we're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back to Carmen. She's going to do this Crafty Kitchen Witch stuff with all this yummy. I even see whipped cream. Now that is against the law. Right there. That is against my diet law. So.
Yeah, but there's fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, but I think that's against my diet law too. Especially with the whipped cream. But we'll see. Let's go to commercial. We come back to Carmen.
Chasing twisters down avenue.
You're watching Modern Pagan TV. If you'd be interested in advertising on our program or becoming a sponsor, please email info@modernpagan.tv. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Same communication to your unspoken voice. You can't break my heart.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Been doing like I taught you. Love the new tattoo, Sarah.
Dude, that's Sarah. The girl in the pink shirt. That's the girl I was telling you about.
Theater 2 on your left. Hey, Sarah. What color underwear today?
Hey, Sarah. So when are you going to post something new?
Anything you post online, anyone can see. So think before you post.
Hi, I'm an atheist.
And I'm a Christian. What are you reading over there?
Oh, Harry Potter. It's good stuff.
Oh, we don't like that. That's not good.
Well, why not?
Well, it's got all that violence and stuff in it. People die. We can't have this. Young kids are reading this.
Well, yeah, but aren't there entire chapters in the Bible there about cities being laid to waste and stuff?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's for a good reason. I mean...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, sex. There's tons of sex in that, I'm sure. Secular book. It's got to be sex.
Actually, there's no sex whatsoever in the Harry Potter series.
All right, well, magic. Can't deny magic. Tons of magic. Devil and magic go hand in hand. I mean, come on.
What exactly do you call it that God does?
Miracles.
Right, so he says something and then something mysteriously happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Magic. That's magic, right?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? The world is going to end now.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I have begun a new religion. Here is a pamphlet. Clearly states the path of enlightenment is worth $20 to me.
Why, that's completely within your right. Have a nice day.
It is often said that the tongue is the strongest muscle in the human body.
Flexible, yet firm, it is the rudder.
Just as a small spark can set the entire forest ablaze.
Just as a tiny key can unlock the largest of vaults.
So too is the tongue a key.
It is the key to all articulation.
Capable of delivering a person's most powerful convictions.
Don't let your voice go unheard.
This message is brought to you by the NAB Education Foundation, the Broadcast Education Association, McCormick Foundation, and this station.
Our forefathers fought to guarantee the right of religious freedom for all Americans.
The separation of church and state, as guaranteed in our Constitution, must be preserved.
Each day, men and women in our military are being denied this right.
How can we let this happen in the greatest nation in the world?
The Military Religious Freedom Foundation is leading the fight for justice for our noble and honorable soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and veterans.
As we continue to fight in the courts, in the media, and in the minds and hearts of our fellow citizens, we need your support. Please donate to the Military Religious Freedom Foundation by going to militaryreligiousfreedom.org. Your generous tax-deductible pledge will help protect religious freedom in America.
I'm chasing twisters down
If you like what you see here, please donate to modernpagan.tv. Just go to our website, www.modernpagan.tv, and look for the donate button. We appreciate your contributions to keep modernpagan.tv on the air and on the internet. And now, back to live modernpagan.tv.
There we are. Hello, everybody! This is Carmen Consalvo with the Crafty Kitchen Witch, and of course, you guys know these guys here. So, I'm here with my friends. They're come to play with me with the food and the stuff and everything. So, anyway, It warmed today, hey kids? Woo! So, it is, what is it, May 22nd. And I think we broke a record here in the Denver metro area. Supposedly,
really?
I don't know, I didn't catch it, but they were calling for 95 degrees today.
92?
And it was very hot.
It was very hot.
What better thing to have?
Ice.
Okay.
Than ice.
So ice cream is really good, but we're going to make smoothies. Okay? So we got see? Yep. And those of you who didn't come to the studio audience tonight, we have a few chairs empty.
Yeah,
You're missing out on something so wonderful and awesome, and you're going to. That's okay. We have more to share with everybody here. And then I get to bring some home to my family. So, okay. So, first thing we're going to do, this is just out of my head. So go ahead and plop some of that in there.
How much?
And
just dump it.
Here, let's use the spoon so we don't make a mess. Just keep going till I say it looks good.
So this is yogurt.
Yeah, this is vanilla yogurt.
Oh, vanilla yogurt.
Yes, just plain old vanilla. You can use probably any flavor you want, but the nice thing about vanilla is you can add flavors to it, and so you can do what you want with it. And we actually have some mangoes, and we have some peaches, and we have some blueberries and strawberries. And what I'm going to do is make a little topping here, okay, guys? Chocolate chip cookies. You know, you got to go
about half the carton.
More?
Yeah, why not? So now what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this away from the microphone so that, you know, I don't flip people out. And I'm going to beat these cookies because they really make me mad.
We're running out of room here, Carmen.
Okay, all right, that's good.
All right.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to put the lid on here. Okay. And go ahead and pick a button anyway. Sometimes it doesn't like the ice. Yay! There we go. It gets there eventually. All right, let's shake it up again a little bit and see what happens. Just make sure we hold on to the lid because we don't like the lids.
Should we like stir it maybe a little bit? Open it up.
Hold on a second there. Lid's trying to come off there on the side there. Yeah, that's all we need.
No, it isn't.
All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll stir it up a little bit here. I may have put a little bit too much ice in here because I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it.
And you need the cold.
Yeah, because that makes it really nice and thick. So, I remember the very first time I made smoothies, I bought frozen yogurt. And that didn't work so well.
Ice not working so well either right now.
Well, some of the ice was kind of stuck together. We tried to break it up as much as possible before we went on. Okay, let's give it a try now and see what we got here.
Okay.
There we go. It'll make it all nice and thick and stuff.
And the little stirring?
Yeah, we'll stir it up. It's getting thicker now. Yep, yep, indeed. Okay, so now I made holes in this little baggie, which was like so fun. Anyway, it's so beautiful. All right, so then, and this is one of those things you can do with the family as well. You just, you know, make sure the kids don't obviously do what we're doing right there.
In the blender.
So, you know,
your fingers. It's a spoon, so that's okay.
You don't want to leave the spoon in there either.
No, let's not do that.
No, that would be like dropping a spoon in a garbage can. No. What's that?
I said he is not even doing that.
I was just going to say, I said not to do that.
Yeah, you said not to do that.
It might be done mixing. Go ahead and stick the spoon in and see if we can do anything else with it.
Is Still has some chunky ice on the top, but
it's getting pretty thick though.
It is.
So, now, what should we put in? What do you guys want? Mango?
Blueberries.
Blueberries for sure. Strawberries.
I can't have strawberries, but I can have blueberries.
Put everything in.
Everything? Put, like my kids say, put all the stuff in.
No strawberries.
No strawberries.
Oh my God, look, there's a good one.
We'll pour some of it on the other strawberries.
Yum, yum, yum.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, those are good.
Yeah.
Oh!
I'm going to grow blueberries in my garden.
Yes,
I finally found out how you can do it in Colorado.
Really?
Grow strawberries? I grow them.
No, not strawberries. Blueberries.
Blueberries. That would be tough.
Yeah, my husband finally started our garden.
Okay.
So at the intersection, we're bringing stuff in.
I think we need to stir.
You're just into the stirring.
Well, he seems to get a little bit further along.
Okay.
All right. Oh my gosh, look at that. That looks so yummy.
Layers.
Yeah, that's good. Now, just tell everybody you intended that, Carmen.
I intended this to happen.
Yumminess. I meant to do that.
These are really good blueberries too. They're very sweet. And this you guys is going to be an awesome treat for your kids, and it's far healthier than milkshake, of course, because, well, you know, you go over to your local fast food place and get a milkshake, and it's, you know, mostly garbage.
Well, it isn't even milk, let alone a shake. Okay.
Oh, look at that. It's dancing in there, look at it. We have blueberry bits and pieces dancing away. Okay.
All right.
So
almost
then,
done.
What we're going to do...
Donate a blender.
We're going to do one at a time?
Oh, you know, you could do orange juice in there, too. So make it kind of like... which we could... I forgot to offer that up. But that will make it kind of like a dreamsicle.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Should we give it a try?
We should definitely try it.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and cover up this puppy.
I get to stir too.
Put it back over there. Okay. I think
one more.
These guys are having way too much fun.
We are. We're having way too much fun. Okay.
Oh, and I took that away.
Yeah, you did.
Silly me.
All right, not being charged. Jeez. Okay.
I'm thinking that Phil wants to give Laura a yogurt shower.
All right. Here you go, babe.
Okay. So let's go ahead and fill these up about halfway. We'll let you do the honors, Phil, if you can not make a mess.
Yeah, because we just washed the tablecloth.
Yeah. Now, I forgot the cherries, but I do have whipped cream. So.
Evil.
Okay, shake can well. Oops. Put the lid down. Okay. Oh, ha ha ha.
You did that.
I didn't. I really didn't. Okay, here's a spoon.
I'm just going to rub that in.
Yes, it's good for you, yes.
I know.
Okay, we'll shake it up a little bit more here. Okay. This is just a messy one.
This is really good.
Okay.
I mean, really. You who didn't show up to be body painted.
I have to move my mom.
We've heard that before. This is really good.
So just imagine.
You're going to really be sorry you're not here tonight.
Imagine you've got your calcium, and now you've got your antioxidants, and then you've got the junk.
No, whipped cream is a food group.
Well, we will pass it around later on. I can pass it around in commercial breaks and stuff like that. No, that one's for you. You get to have that one.
Okay.
Well, this is the Crafty Kitchen Witch. I'm Carmen Consalvo, and there's your yogurt smoothies You need to make this for your family. It's, 90 degrees outside today for crying out, 95 degrees for crying out loud. So, this is going to be so totally awesome. And this is a great sun. It's for any time. But you got to remember, you've got, here in America, you've got Memorial Day coming up. Don't forget Father's Day. And with that in mind, over the next few weeks, since Litha is coming up, we will be making things and doing things for Litha and for Father's Day. So, This has been the Crafty Kitchen Witch. I'm Carmen Consabo. By golly, go have yourself a smoothie! Woo!
This is really good. I really didn't know it was going to be this good. So this is really
Thank you
good.
very much. This is delicious.
That's good. All right.
Well, you know me, I'm Italian and I love to feed people.
There you go. All right, hand gestures and keep it clean in case kids are watching.
Well, there's a lot of magical signs and symbols for moving energy.
Right.
And there's been a lot of gestures that have been around for quite some time.
Okay.
One of them that you use to trace symbols and signs and seagulls.
Seagulls.
Various symbols.
Not seagulls.
Not seagulls. Seagulls.
I thought it was sigils.
Siggles.
Siggles, okay.
It's called the Chair of Isis.
Okay.
You hold the middle two fingers.
Yes.
And with these two fingers, you pull in energy as if these were antennas.
Ah, okay.
And you direct that energy out through those two, three-finger combination.
That looks more like a nubis. It looks like a jackal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so you would trace over designs
to
enforce that energy.
Okay. Cool.
That's one of them.
All right, that's fine.
I think I have mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. That crossing your fingers is a gesture that disrupts energy. We draw in energy through our left hand, if you're right-handed, and out through the right hand. And you'll find a lot of pictures of people, especially holy people of various tribes and shaman traditions and Christian traditions with two fingers held in parallel.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it's because energy is directed out in a more focused and directed way.
Okay.
But the Christian church didn't want the population to know that technique because it would diminish their power and authority over their people.
Okay.
And so what they would ask is that if you wanted something to happen in accordance to your will, and it did not happen, you would go back to them. So they often told people how to cross their fingers in order to accomplish something that they wanted. And as they did that, they did not get the result they were looking for because of the disrupted and chaotic energy pattern. Because of that, they would go back to the priest. And so therefore, that tradition came out.
Kind of like medicine. So you don't only treat the symptoms and not the underlying cause, so you have to keep going back.
Right.
Okay.
And so there's other symbols that have often been used to, like for instance, one of them is called the Lemacent. That's the infinity symbol.
Can everybody see that? Can we get a close shot on that?
It's the infinity symbol, and it's called the Lemacent. It's a magical symbol. You'll find it above on the tarot cards. You'll find it above the magician.
Yes,
and
I've seen it there.
card.
Yes. I've seen it there.
It is a symbol that is created to enforce or direct energy. You use your two fingers, and you would sort of outline that symbol in that form.
Okay.
I also use it in some Tai Chi movements that I do, where I'm moving energy in that direction.
Okay.
What you do is you're rebalancing energies and helping them flow. You can also direct that energy in an archetypal beam and move it out towards something to alter and change something that you want to see changed. It causes change. So if you had someone focused in the wrong way about something you don't want to be stared at as an example, you would form that and direct it towards that person, and it would disrupt that pattern of thought. It would disrupt their thinking, and they would get a little bit confused and or drop. whatever they were focused on.
Okay.
So those are the kinds of things that you could do with magical signs and symbols.
You know, I heard a different thing about that. I heard that when you crossed your fingers like that, you were trapping your luck.
I never heard that. It was
That and knocking on wood. Knocking on wood was an old going to the wood sprites for information. So that's where the knock on wood comes
came from.
But that's what I heard about trapping your luck. So,
Well,
interesting.
I've never heard that, and I guess you would have to form a.
Yeah, you do have to. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a very specific.
You have to have a space in there to trap it.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
that's interesting, huh?
I've been taught the method of directing energy or misdirecting energy
Right.
by not counting your fingers in parallel.
Huh.
So that's one of them.
Cool. Any others?
Let's see. Of course, when you're working with energies, you move it with both your hands
Right.
and you work in balance. A lot of the Chinese traditions of Tai Chi and Qigong use that energy flow and movement of energy and directing it. So you would also focus energy through your hands and bring it up and move it. And you can do that both for your own balance and health and exercise movement, as well as moving energy and focusing it to somewhere you want it to occur. You'll find that people who are involved in like high pressure sales pitching, they would use both their two fingers and direct energy with their hands.
Really?
Yeah, because that would be an influential thing. They would take some of the comments they have and they would focus on any individual or a group of individuals and focus that energy and push it. And so the audience would get bombarded with information and the energy as well, and it would kind of compound what they're trying to accomplish. So a lot of manipulation.
Yeah, so how would you avoid something like that?
Again, a shield.
Okay.
Always shield. I keep almost a permanent shield in my mind's eye of all activities. And my shield can go out or bring it in depending on my circumstances where I'm at.
Yeah.
Another type of kinds of gestures and hand movements and such are those that are found in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP.
Yeah.
Okay? There's things that I recall, like for instance, rolling your eyes back to help draw memories that have been lost memories or trying to recover some thoughts. You'll see people kind of thinking and roll their eyes up in that direction. That's because those triggers in the optic nerve actually access the memory nerve. So you can start pulling information. If you're interested in something, hey, start looking up like that. And there's a lot of pacing and leading with information and manipulating people's behavior with NLP. I don't like manipulation. I think those kinds of practices are deceitful and manipulative in a negative way.
You mean like this bill that's in the Congress?
Among them, yes. And they use many different methods
Yeah.
to do that. And again, I look to protect myself. I'm shielding all the time to keep me from being influenced in a way that I don't want to be.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, good information. Good information. So that's cool. Thanks. I didn't know some of that. Yeah. No, that's wonderful. All right. Our special guest, our giveaway, our first ever Modern Pagan giveaway, is coming up right after this commercial break. And you have to be in the chat room too. So if you're listening, get in the chat room quick.
I'm chasing twisters down avenue.
You're watching Modern Pagan TV. If you'd be interested in advertising on our program or becoming a sponsor, please email info@modernpagan.tv. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Same communication to your unspoken lies. You can't break my heart.
I think
believed in witchcraft for centuries, and in the Stuart era, we just loved accusing innocent people of being witches. Have you had an accident that wasn't your fault? Trip or fall at work? Suffered a personal injury or sickness? Then you could have been cursed by a witch. So get in touch with us at Witchfinders Direct. We'll find some innocent woman, say she's a witch, and have her burned to death. Farmer Pocket of Crawley lost all his cabbages when they were eaten by slugs. He lost literally several shillings. So he called in Witchfinders. And we decided the slugs had been sent by the strange old woman who lived in the village. Yes, her.
It wasn't me.
Yes, it was. She's old and warty and looks a bit evil, don't you think? So we had her dragged away and given a fair trial. Do you have a cat?
Yeah.
Then thou art a witch. She was put to death, and her cat sent to prison. So if you have anything go wrong in your life, call Witchfinders Direct. We'll find some innocent old woman and blame her for it. Witchfinders, because old ladies deserve it.
In the 1600s, confessing to being a witch could result in burning. Not confessing to being a witch could result in being tortured until you said you were a witch, then in burning. Not all witches were burned. Other punishments included forced fasting, exile, hanging, beheading, stoning, and gouging.
Respecting an establishment of religion,
prohibiting the free exercise thereof,
or abridging the freedom of speech,
or of the press,
or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble,
and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
We can believe. We can believe. We can believe.
We can believe.
We can believe.
We can believe.
I have the right to believe.
I have the right to believe. I have the right to believe.
I have the right to believe. I have the right to believe.
I have the right to believe.
I have the right to believe.
I'm chasing twisters down an
If you like what you see here, please donate to modernpagan.tv. Just go to our website, www.modernpagan.tv, and look for the donate button. We appreciate your contributions to keep modernpagan.tv on the air and on the internet. And now, back to live modernpagan.tv.
Applause, applause. So tonight, we're very fortunate. One of my favorite people is here. Somebody I have known actually for 2 centuries. I get to say that because it's really true. And it may have been longer, but I can only remember these 2 centuries.
Well, I was telling Karen in this lifetime,
yes,
1984 when I came to Colorado, she was my first contact over at ISIS, and went over and met her, talked with her. She gave me points on who to contact. I read information from the bulletin boards, and from there I got involved in the Wiccan Pagan community.
All right, super.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're very fortunate tonight to have an herbalist, an author, a teacher, High Priestess Karen Charbonneau Harrison. So Karen, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I've been so looking forward to this.
We have been too. So Karen, you come from an interesting tradition.
I do. I actually come from a family tradition.
Right, and there aren't many of those around.
I don't think so. I think there's probably more than people know about because a
that
lot
could be.
of trad people still stay
Sure,
within the fam
sure,
trad. You know,
yeah,
don't get out
yeah.
into the public and such.
Right.
But no, I was brought up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You always hear it in my
Okie,
voice when I
you're
talk
Okie.
to my mother on the phone. You know, all the y'alls come out and all that. But my mother's side of the family, the maternal side of the family, were all very interested in herbs, in psychic development, in magic. My great aunt was one of the big seance people in Tulsa, and so that's really kind of where it all
Great
started
tradition.
in the family. So when I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, I was always interested in all this stuff. But I took all of my mother's perfume and I mixed it all up into one not so lovely scent.
Yeah.
At which point they took me by the hand and said,
we're
going to show you how you actually do this and keep away from my perfume. So that's where it all started.
All right, that's cool. And so you ended up going to Canada to school,
right? Emerson College of Herbology. Well, when I was probably, I don't know, you've worked in the health field forever.
Yeah.
When I was about 18, up to that point, I had only really focused on the magical properties of herbs.
Right.
But I ran into some health issues, and of course, I wasn't getting much help from Western medicine. As you commented earlier, they were trying to treat the symptoms, but not the problem. And so the various reading I had done about herbs, of course, I had been acquainted with medicinal, but I hadn't paid it much attention. And so I thought, well, if they're not going to help me, I'm going to figure out something for myself. And so I started delving into the medicinal properties of herbs. And, of course, it took care of any problem that I had.
Sure.
So at that point, I said, I want to know more, and I want to be able to help other people with this as well. So that's when I got my Master of Herbalism.
Right. Yeah, my grandmother was what I would not call, I'd never called Grams an herbalist. I used to call her an herb wife because she didn't have formal training. She was taught that by her mother and grandmother,
right?
As just what women did to take care of their families, and so she grew medicinal herbs. And by the time I came along on the farm, she actually had a still room, and it looked just exactly like what you thought it should be: pegs on the wall with bunches of herbs hanging all over the place. They were never labeled because, you know, the same herb always
and she knew what they looked like.
She totally knew what they looked like.
Them?
Absolutely. And she had, Grandpa had made some frames for her for the really delicate flowers to dry on cheesecloth, and that was where she made the medicines to treat the family. And she was also, I don't know whether she considered it a curse or a gift, but she always knew when a member of the family was sick, and she would always contact them and tell them, oh yes, you know, you have pneumonia, you need to start to, and they go, but I don't. She goes,
yeah, you do.
Or you will, and so start taking this now, so you won't. And so, but she was not open to anything other than a very strict religious bent, which wasn't pagan. So, all right, so let's get to this book, because this is an awesome book that everybody wants.
Do you want me to show you this book?
Absolutely. Let's show everybody the book.
Beautiful cover.
This is it. This is the one we were talking about right here. And if you are not lucky enough to win this tonight, go to www.modernpagan.tv. Go under Guest Resources, May 22nd. There will be this picture. Click on this, and it will take you right into ISIS Books and the ability to purchase this online.
That is correct.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this obviously is a labor of love. I've been obsessed.
But it's not the first thing you've written.
Oh, heavens no.
I mean, you're just multi-published.
If you want to read a lot of my writings, you can go to isisbooks.com.
Right.
There's tons of free informative articles on medicinal herbs, magical practice, shamanism, ceremonial magic,
and astrology.
Whatever. Yeah, astrology. There's hundreds of articles on there. Not all written by myself. Just most
a lot of them.
A lot of them. And because we really want to share the information. You were saying, Phil, that you met me at ISIS in 1984, which is just insane. I can't believe that it's 2012, to be honest. But ISIS had been open or around for 4 years before that time. So we celebrated our 32nd birthday this year, which is pretty cool.
Isn't that amazing?
But it's always been about sharing knowledge and helping people to get the tools either via knowledge from books or talking to the staff there and so on and so forth. So when all this internet craziness started, we immediately delved into that portion of communication, getting information.
Yeah, you used to put out a physical newsletter 4 times a year, mailed to 1 million people.
Yeah, it was. Well, it wasn't quite 1 million. It was
close though.
It was about 18,000 people.
Well, that's close.
I was one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and now all of that is on our website.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, save a tree.
Yeah, save a lot of trees and a lot of postage too.
And a lot of postage. Yeah, for sure.
And then if you didn't keep the back issues, you can still go into the archives and search for articles.
Absolutely. Yeah, and of course you can just print them out, and they're all free.
Absolutely.
It's free.
And so you are so famous that the publisher came to you and said, Miss Harrison.
Well, it's about the squeaky wheel, really.
Okay.
Because I am a bookstore owner along with my husband, Jeff.
Right.
We go to a yearly thing for businesses like ours, metaphysical, magical, spiritual stores.
Right.
And it happens here in Denver, which is really convenient.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So
I know.
I was at the Weiser booth. Now they're called Red Will Weiser.
Oh.
Yeah, Donald Weiser retired.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, he's Samuel's son.
Okay.
And Don retired. And a couple of fabulous people had another publishing business called Red Wheel, and I think Canary was part of it too. And so now it's Red Wheel Canary Weiser.
God, sounds like a law firm.
Yeah. So I was at their booth where they were showing all of the new books, the titles that had come out. And I said, well, I'd really like to see some deeper subjects sometimes on like herbs and stuff like that. And we got to talking, and I didn't realize I was talking to my future editor. Or I probably wouldn't have
blathered on so much. Right, yeah.
So she went to our website, read some of my articles there, and then sent me an email the next week and said, write a book. And I said, oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh, that isn't what you said.
No, I can't say that on. Well,
yes,
I can.
You
This
can.
is the internet, but I'm not going to. This is a family show. So yeah,
family.
but nonetheless. So yes, but it was half of the book is put together from stuff I had written over decades, and then the other half, it just really made me have to stretch my brain. How would I explain this to people who weren't there to talk with me? Because I teach in person how to do this stuff too, but trying not to use too many words and make it boring, but make it usable and accessible for somebody who wasn't there with me.
And that's what really, I'm going to hold that up again so people can see it again, and that's what really impresses me is how user-friendly this book really is. There we go. How user-friendly this is. So you can go from having a sense that herbs are things that grow to actually getting a lot of information.
Well, I think so. It's half medicinal and half magical because, well, as we know from our studies, it's all the same.
Right.
Our ancestors were using herbs in both senses from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so that's what it is. I break it into chapters. Each chapter is dedicated to a particular planetary energy.
Right.
And we talk in depth about the medicinal qualities and why it does what it does, and then the magical properties of those herbs. And then coupled with that, in each of the chapters is a ritual or a meditation, some sort of working where you can do something with it and create an alchemical herbal formula and use it in a practical way, because that's, you know, that's where I come from too. I have a Scorpio moon, so I always like all of the mysterious stuff, but I have that Capricorn in there as well, and so Capricorn wants to be practical.
Right.
Capricorn wants to do something with it, not just talk about it.
Right.
So that's the focus.
Now you say alchemy in here, and I think a lot of people, probably some viewers, are thinking of alchemy and turning lead into gold.
Sure, but the roots of alchemy, as you well know, are originally actually with plant materials. And I address in the book different alchemical formulations and ways to create a filter, ways to create a condenser, that sort of thing, which are alchemical products using plant materials. You wanted to say something?
Well, I wanted to say that the early alchemists were the scientists that did experiments with not only herbs, but with minerals and various substances and oils and waters and various other types of liquids to make changes and to help and design such. And alchemy is the forerunner of chemistry, and that's how the empirical process actually established in laboratory events into chemistry.
Absolutely.
So their roots are involved in all of these changes in chemistry.
Alchemy, chemistry. That's where the word chemistry comes from.
Right.
It's from alchemy.
So if I were going to get this book, what would you, where would I, I mean, obviously chapter 1, but how would I move through the book, and what would you want me to know?
Well, you could just literally start with chapter 1.
Okay.
Or what I tell people sometimes when they come into ISIS to get the book and talk to me about it is look at the table of contents.
Because it's a reference. You can look for certain information on
Right.
certain chapters,
Right.
maybe
Right.
recipes, maybe formulas of some kind.
Exactly.
Or issues or
techniques and
planets.
such.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, chapter 1 is about the sun. I'll just steal your book for a moment, Phil. So, herbs of the sun, personal power, health, and success. Those are the energies of the sun. And so we talk in great depth about that. And then there's a ritual and an herbal formula to make having to do with that ritual for success,
And then
health.
you teach them that in order to do that, they have to take into account where the sun is and the day of the sun and the timing.
The addendums are all about
Right, and
the days of the week, the phases of the moon, void, of course, and, you know, all of that. And then there's actual formulas at the back, although that's not really what I emphasize, because what I want people to do with this book is make this knowledge their own. And so the recipes that I provide in there, I don't know how many there are, 80 or something, are to kind of get them started or give them ideas about how they might combine things. But about a third of the book is about how to create your own custom formula for whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Absolutely, because your own energy works with those elements and changes it in accordance to the way you work with it.
That's
and so it's how you apply it. And a lot of times, some of the medicinal end products don't necessarily work for someone else because they were infused with your energy. And I've seen that sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's always something you want to add from the person you're working with, at least in a lot of spell work.
Well, physics understands, you know, the observer.
Quantum entanglement.
Yes, changes the experiment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think all first-year physicist students learn that in the proton gun experiments. So they know that just by watching it, they change.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take 2 seconds and do our competition because people apparently have been waiting for that. So here we go. All right.
All right.
So here's the magic question. If you know the magic answer, the first person to get it right, we will let you know, and then you can send your snail mail information to info@modernpagan.tv. So here we go.
All right.
Here's the question. Here's the magic
All right.
question.
Here's the question, and it is in this book, the answer. But what is? Oh, now hold up the book.
I was going to look.
Don't cheat. Okay.
I already have it, so I can't win it anyway.
Well, now let's see if you read it. But what is the resin that is called the frankincense of the Americas?
So there you go.
That's the mystery question.
That's the mystery question. And let's see who knows it. I'll bet people are Googling that one real quick. We'll just see if they get it. Alrighty, so we're gonna keep going on. So tell us more, Karen. Tell us more.
Well, what do you want to know?
Some of the recipes and how.
Yeah. So is there love potion number 9 in there?
No, although I do make that. Valentine's Day, I make love potion number 9. You know, for all of the sweethearts that are out there.
Okay.
We do it in a massage oil.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice. But this book is based on Western herbology.
Right.
And so it's based on the doctrine of signatures that it was developed by Paracelsus.
Right.
So each of the planets exhibits a particular flavor, if you will, of energy. So I was saying earlier, sun for health, for success, for personal power, moon energies you would use for the subconscious mind, obviously, dream work, intuition, Mars for motivation, courage, endurance, that sort of thing. And what our ancestors would do is they would be using these plant materials. They would note what type of physical effect that an herb would have. Was it a tonic? Was it a sedative? Was it analgesic? What did it do to the physical body?
Right.
At the same time, they would be observing on an energy or spirit level what type of effects that it had as well. So they would make their medicinal formulas to treat physical,
mind, body, and spirit.
Right, exactly. And certainly as they were compounding them, this goes back to what you said a few minutes ago, the root worker, the wise man or woman, was infusing that formula with intention and focus and purpose at the same time for themselves, for the family member, for the member of the community. And that's what you do with the magical formula too. It's all well and good to write out all of this stuff from a intellectual space, but when you're actually making it, you need to be in a very focused state with a lot of intention, because you are infusing it, you're charging it, you're kind of giving it its instructions, if you will, exactly how it is supposed to work.
Yeah, that's good.
As a matter of fact, part of that is sometimes some of the incantations and verbal sound energy that helps infuse that vibrational energy also adds something.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the consciousness and how it's brought into a lot of it. So there's a combination of things that come into play.
So you don't want to be like really pissed off, angry, bad mood.
Well, no, it depends on what you're doing.
Oh, well.
Okay, but for, I would say 99% of the formulas that you make, no, that would be a
if you were making a poison to poison,
that's right, but I don't
then you would probably
that.
dump all that negative energy in it.
You know, they say the same thing about cooking too. You know, if you're stirring the pot, you shouldn't be like.
Oh, I think that's so absolutely true, because it's all about energy.
It's all about energy.
Yeah.
It is. I remember when my mom was teaching me how to make meatballs, we would make meatballs side by side. We had all the ingredients laid out, and she would take the meatball and mix it with the softened bread and the other herbs and egg and whatever else. And she would make the meatball. I would do the same thing the same way. We'd put our meatballs next to each other in the frying pan. We'd cook them up. Hers tasted different than mine all the time. And I never forgot that. So my brother and my sister, seriously, my brother would say, this is the one Phil made. This is the one Mom made.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was notable.
Really?
And I repeated it a number of times because I didn't understand why that could happen.
Yeah.
And now I understand.
Yeah, it's about the energy. Now, that's not to say that the herb itself does not have its own signature, its own
Hence
energy.
the doctrine of signatures.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that it doesn't work on you in a physiological way as well. I mean, that's what aromatherapy is about. We have found through various studies, you know, it's always funny to me on all of this stuff that we've done for centuries the scientists finally say, oh, well, this is why it works. And we're just like, well, thank you.
Alan Hirsch comes, Dr. Hirsch at the Center for whatever it is, and, oh, no, I've just proven this. It's like, thanks, Alan, but we didn't really need that because we've known that for
thousands of
years. We've been using it this way for all this time.
Thank you so much for doing that.
But it's shown that various scents actually stimulate different areas of the brain. And so you use them for those purposes.
So if people have, say, what they consider a challenge, say they have been offered a job and they're all excited about it, but there's some things about it. Maybe maybe they would have to move, or maybe they'd have to work different hours, and then there would be a daycare issue or something like that. Is there information in there about stuff like that?
Oh, there is, but what I would advise people to do in that instance is, rather than try to change the physicality of the limitations on that particular employment situation, I would put together a formula and an intention and a ritual to have the universe bring to me the perfect opportunity.
That's beautiful.
Rather than trying to change all them, I would have the universe open it up. To a degree, it's good to have kind of a shopping list when you're putting a ritual together, because you have some basic goals or intentions with it, but you don't want to get nitpicky and too detailed on what the result has to look like. I've found that the universe always brings me something much better than I would have conceived of with my puny human mind. That's right.
At the right time.
Yeah, and I tell students that too. You need a reliable form of transportation, and you look at your budget and say, well, I can afford a 92 Subaru. If I were you, I wouldn't do any kind of working around making sure you get a 92 Subaru, because the universe may have had you winning a Lamborghini, and and you just mess that one up.
Well, that's the other thing I tell people who come into ISIS as they're trying to put their focus together. Of course, the three things people are mostly concerned with: love, money, protection. And they say, I need, make me something for money. And I always try to talk them out of that. I say, why don't we do something about prosperity or abundance? Because money comes in that one form. And in that one form. But abundance can bring you who knows what. You may get some money with it. Somebody may give you a car they don't want anymore.
Other doors open.
So
you may have loose change and buy a lottery ticket that wins.
There's so many ways it can happen. So having that very limited view limits your outcome.
Okay.
Very good.
So you talk about coming into ISIS. Can people make an appointment with you?
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard because I'm a crazy woman. And I'm always... There's not a second that I'm not doing something. But if they want to get with me, they need to email me so that I can set aside the time for them. Every once in a while, I get lucky and I have a little bit of time where I can actually just kick back a little bit and have a conversation. But most of the time, my staff will tell you, I'm running in circles, So.
Absolutely. So how long has the book been out?
The book came out last June, so it'll be a year next month.
Next month.
But I have another book coming out too.
I know. Let's talk about that one.
Okay. Well, I have one that I'm really excited about that is called The Everyday Psychic. And it's like every with a space, day psychic. Because what I'm trying to do with that one is show people how they can use their psychic abilities and their intuition all the time in everything that they do, so that they're using all of their senses to inform their actions and decisions. So that's going to come out, I don't know, late fall, early winter this year. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun to write. Although, when I got them my manuscript, they said, this is almost twice as long as we expected. And so now I have the second book almost totally done. Cut a bunch of chapters so that...
So the every week psychic will follow the everyday psychic.
That's right.
What kind of research did you do for both books?
Well, on the Herbal Alchemist Handbook, of course, my own experience, but there have been some fantastic.
We have a winner.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
Winner. Well, I'll just. So
tell them.
in case people are wondering why we have the computer here.
What was the answer that they provided?
Well. So this is hooked up to the chat room so that when people have questions of the guests, the chat room shoots that question over here onto the computer so we can answer it. So I was just checking, and yes, we have a winner, and we're going to find out in. Okay, so we're going to find out in 2 seconds.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So it's a Laura, not L-A-R-A like mine, L-A-U-R-A-W-D, whoever that is. So congratulations, Laura W.D.
What was the answer?
All right.
What's the answer?
So the question was, what is the resin that is called the frankincense of the Americas? Because you know frankincense comes from the Middle East.
Right.
Ethiopia is one of the most fantastic places.
Boswellia serrata.
Yeah. And the frankincense of the Americas is copal.
C-O-P-A-L.
C-O-P-A-L.
Right.
Very good.
Very widely used in Mesoamerica.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful fragrance too. So. No. So, all right. So, Laura, if you will, please send your information to info@modernpagan.tv, and we will get that book right out to you.
Well, right, and of course I'll sign your book.
Yeah.
So let me know if you want to use a magical name or if you want to use your given name, and I will do as you say.
All right, yeah, so super. Woo, our first ever giveaway. Woo, I love it. We're going to have rituals pretty soon. All right, so back to our question.
So some of the research.
Well, fun research.
Oh, the research, yes.
Yeah.
So there are
some of it come from family research?
Family research,
documents?
personal experience. I mean, you know I've been doing this. I'm not going to tell you how long.
2 centuries. This one and the last
that
one.
gets scary. I don't want people to know that I'm over 28. But
well, I thought you were 29,
yeah.
so that's... Oh, sorry.
But, so yes, certainly from family experience, my own personal experience, I've been a commercial, a professional, whatever, herbal alchemist since about 1978. But also I have some friends who are amazing herbalists and have written books as well. Now, Scott's not with us anymore.
No,
Scott Cunningham. Love his books. Paul Barrow is a huge sweetheart and amazingly brilliant. And so certainly I was informed by them. I mean, really, they're the ones that did the 20th century work on the newer planets. Because Paracelsus, being in the 14th century, is...
the older ones.
Right, he was just using the 7 ancient planets. And so it's in the 20th century that we encounter Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And so it's the newer magical herbalists that incorporate those energies in their work as well.
Stephen is a herbalist who lived in Boulder for quite a while. I met him. I can't remember his last name, Stephen. But he was one of the more current ones, well published. He had a couple of books. So there's a lot of modern alchemists that are working in this field. It's growing, and it's getting more important. I know.
And the feds are trying to shut it down.
I know. I was going to say some of the
health
food stores,
still
natural
available.
health food stores, are still promoting an awful lot of the herbs, and they're having lots of. Well, I know particularly the Vitamin Cottage has file cabinets full of information about and books and references to a lot of this, and they're always promoting it. They're always bringing in different products and such. So
absolutely,
it's healthy.
So. You used family recipes, some of them.
Some of them are recipes that I've developed over the years. Some of them I created just for this book.
Oh, cool. Tell us about one of the ones you created just for the book.
Oh, let me look at my stuff in the back and see which...
It's a reference book.
It is a reference book. It's a reference book and a workbook. So I developed the one on grounding, for this book. Because I encounter a lot of people who don't know how to center themselves. They don't really care to meditate. They have the idea that meditation has to be long and boring, and they're kind of surprised when I said, if you just take 5 minutes, you could be there.
Quiet the mind.
Yeah, quiet, exactly. So, but because I get asked a lot to help people ground, help people relax and center themselves, I put that together for this book. Now, going back to the Doctrine of Signatures, if you look at the concept of grounding, which is literally connecting your auric field with the auric field of the earth.
Yes, okay.
And then releasing your scatteredness and bringing in that calm centeredness. The types of planetary energies that have to do with that process involve the moon, because many times it's the chatter in the subconscious mind, I need to do my laundry, I haven't done that yet type of stuff that comes in when you're trying to meditate, so you are calming the subconscious mind. Also, energies of Mercury, which is the conscious mind, that critic that is always telling you that whatever it is you're doing isn't quite good enough, or you don't have time for this right now. Yeah. And then Saturn, because Saturn is the planet of form, of manifestation, of rootedness, and of time. So all of those worked together will, in a formula, will help a person to ground almost instantaneously. In fact, it's really fun. At the store, when people come in and they've, a lot of people just come to the store to chill.
Sure.
They're not even shopping. They just want to come and hang and relax.
They have a cup of tea and a cookie.
That's right. So they'll head right to the back of the store where we have our herb kiosk.
Right.
All these organic herbs, all the formulas, and so on and so forth. And they'll say, please, please, I need to be grounded. I need to, just relax. And so we'll just grab a bottle of earth oil and say, smell this. We won't tell them what it is. We just say, smell this. Close your eyes, smell this. Tell me how you feel. And the response is always, oh, that's much better now. So
you teach people in there how to do that?
Well, we do a couple of things. I do classes a few times a year on how to do this.
Right.
I'll be doing another one probably in September, October of this year.
Okay.
And then also, people come in and we do custom stuff for them all of the time because they're working on their process, their goals, their focus. And while the ready-made formulas that we have there for them to use are fantastic and made with the planetary energies, moon phase, and all of that, sometimes they need the tweak for their specific situation. So we have them talk to us for a little bit about what they're trying to do, what their intention is, what obstacles they may be encountering in meeting that goal, and then we put together their formula right there on the spot. So, and that's really my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about some of the bowls or cups and such that you would use. I know that each type has a different effect. Like you would use glass, you don't want to use plastic. You want to use ceramic, something that's in that category. Crystal bowls would even be better in some of these cases. But how about some of the shapes? Round versus square? Or have you ever noticed, or is there any change?
I always use round.
Right.
You couldn't get me to use a square container. Boy, that would be so annoying, knocking everything against the side. What I do, though, involving shape, is as I am mixing it, now here we're talking about incense or bath salts, then I will use certain signs, certain motions that are in accordance with the energy focus of the material. But the bowl or the mortar and pestle that I'm mixing in is always round.
I mentioned earlier the lemescent.
Yes.
You stir. I stir a lot of my materials and soups and like oatmeal and such. I use that to. Another one is when you go in a clockwise direction versus a counterclockwise direction for changing energy in and energy out.
That's right. Everything is done with purpose.
Cool.
Now, the thing we don't do when we're making either our ready-made stuff, which is based on my formulas, or the custom stuff for people, is we do not charge it with energy. We explain very clearly to the client that we're working with that that is their job. You know, they've got to empower it. That's right. That's not what we do.
Cool. Alrighty. So, one last time, you want this book? You want to get it? You can either go to ISIS, or actually, you can go to www.modernpagan.tv, go to guest resources, scroll all the way down to the bottom. You will see a picture of this book. Click on that and it will take you directly to a place where you can purchase it. And so congratulations to Laura WD, whoever that is, who's in our chat room tonight, who came up with the correct answer, our first ever giveaway. And that's going to be a wrap of our show for tonight. Next week we're going to have a concert, so that'll be fun too. So thanks for joining us tonight. Love, peace, and we'll see you next week.
Very good.
Good.
Fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you stir in a clockwise, you're putting energy in?
Well, when I stir in the clockwise, it's for a formula that is
Thanks for watching Modern Pagan TV. We'll be back at the same time and the same place next week with more. If you like what you see here, please go to our website, www.modernpagan.tv, and contribute generously. And don't forget to tell all your friends about Modern Pagan TV. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and visit our site regularly. We'll see you next week with more Modern Pagan TV. To all people of all spiritual beliefs, we say good night, namaste, and blessed be.